Hi folks, this is James Scott reporting for Independence Live. So happens to be that I'm in Johnston today in a bit of business, so I thought I'd pop by nearby to Elderslie. This is the birthplace of Sir William Wallace, and there's the marker there just to indicate that. Just as you go into Elderslie, you can see there. I'm just going to walk along here now because the Wallace Monument's a wee bit further along the road here. This is the area that is reputed to be where Wallace stayed in Elderslie. There is a dispute to that though. When you look back in history, at the time of the Battle of Stirling Brig, which was 11 September 1197, the army of William Wallace and Andrew Murray defeated the English at the Battle of Stirling Brig. After that, they sent a document over to Europe, Lubeck to be precise, in Germany, saying that Scotland was now free and the ports were open again for business. In that document, it refers to William Wallace, a son of Adam Wallace of Ayr, which puts a wee bit of a dispute about the Elderslie connection, although some are adamant that the Wallaces did stay in Elderslie. The other point about that is there is a place in Ayrshire which is called Elderslie, which is an interesting point. There's a lot of disputes over the history of Wallace. Unfortunately, at that time there was a lot of warfare and a lot of things have been lost through history. A lot of the actual history of William Wallace is not absolutely 100% accurate. There are disputes over a number of things. One of the things that there is a dispute over, and I've been researching history for 30 years, is the connection to a tower in Rutherglen Main Street. It's the tower of the old Rutherglen Kirk. It goes way back to the 12th century. Now, in some history books, it's said that the tower is where William Wallace was actually betrayed, where the pact was made to betray him. And he was captured later on the day in Rob Royston. So there seems to be something in the story about the old Rutherglen Tower. There seems to be history relating to Wallace and the guy that betrayed him, Menteith, whose body is reported to be buried in the old graveyard at Rutherglen Kirk. And across the road from the old tower, there is actually a Wallace bar. There is a connection with William Wallace and Rutherglen. So whether it can be proved 100%, I don't know, but it's certainly in a lot of history books I've looked, the connection with Rutherglen. Now, the monument is just a wee bit further up the road here. Every year there's a march, which is generally around about the end of August, relating to the time when William Wallace was actually executed. He was actually captured. Some say the 3rd of August, some say the 5th of August, if you believe the story regarding the tower in Rutherglen. Anyway, he was transported from Scotland down to London, and on the 22nd of August, William Wallace was held overnight in a house in Fenchurch Street in London. The following day, he was called before a kangaroo court. He was allowed no defence, and obviously English justice hasn't changed much in all these years. He was sentenced to death. There's a notice there for the Wallace Memorial, just approaching it now. He was sentenced to death in the most cruel way. He was carried along in a stretcher along to Smithfield in London. There he was hung, drawn and quartered on orders of Edward I of England, one of the worst tyrant kings in history. So Wallace was executed on the 23rd of August 1305. Now, I'm just actually coming up now to the Wallace Monument. I'm just going to see, so you can see it over there, just where the trees are, it's just up there. Just waiting to get across the road here. if you ever get the chance, come up and see this monument up here because it's lovely. This is reputed to be the house where the Wallace family stayed, so it's well worth a visit. I come here every year for the Wallace Rally, and I would advise you, if you can, come up for the Wallace Rally. It's at the end of August this year. This is a busy road there. Right, just crossing it now. The monument's just across the road there. We'll go up and have a wee look at it. As I've been saying for many a year, it's very important for the Scottish people to know their history. So I like to visit historical sites. So I'm just moving up now to the Wallace Monument. Yeah, that's Wallace Avenue. Right now. Here we go. Just approaching the monument just now. Here we go. It says here, welcome to the traditional site of William Wallace's birthplace. Wallace was a hero of Scotland's war of independence against England during the 13th and 14th centuries. Recent archaeological work on this site proves that during the 13th, 14th centuries, there was a significant fortified structure here which may have been Wallace's family home. This memorial was erected in 1912 by public subscription. Each year on the Saturday closest to the 23rd of August, the anniversary of his execution in London in 1305, the Society of William Wallace celebrates his life with a gala day. The Wallace yew tree at the rear of this site is at least 300 years old. I'm just going to move up now to the monument itself. Old structure there. That. The yew tree. This tree is known locally as a Wallace yew. It is thought to be 300 years old. It has been surveyed and a programme of treatment is underway to improve its health. I'll just go across now to the monument itself. It's a lovely monument, this. If you ever get the chance to come through here, have a look at it. Everybody in Scotland should know our history and remember a man like William Wallace and for what he did for us. It's important to remember that when William Wallace was born around 1270, 1272, Scotland was a free country. It wasn't until later on when Edward I attacked Scotland that we had the problems. Overall, despite one or two disputes over the years, Scotland was an independent country for over 1,000 years. It's a lovely monument, this. I do hope that you can manage up someday, bring your family, let them see this monument to Scotland's national hero. And it says on there, it was ordered by Edward I that after his revolting, barbaric execution, the head of Sir William Wallace be set on London Bridge. One quarter of his body to be suspended on the gibbet at Newcastle on Tyne, another quarter at Berwick, another quarter Stirling, and a fourth quarter at St Johnstone. He had no tomb. There we go. See the rest of the monument. The carvings on it are absolutely superb. So folks, I hope that someday you will come here and have a wee look at this monument. Maybe if you can manage up around about the end of August when the Wallace rally's on. That's the yew tree up there that I was referring to. See, it's all cordoned off. Just go up and have a wee look. Normally at the Wallace rally every year, they're up here. They usually stand up here to do the speeches. This plaque is to commemorate the historic tree planting of a cutting from the original yew tree on the 16th June 2011 by Renfrewshire Council leader Brian Wallace and children from Wallace Primary School, Elderslie. Well folks, I hope you liked that also bit of history about William Wallace. Read up about it if you can about William Wallace. It's a fascinating story. So I'm going to sign off now. Over the next few months I'll hope to give you some more historical insight into Scottish history. Bye for now.